Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in this Photoshop overlay video, I'll be showing you how you can make an overlay like this, which you can then place on top of pictures or even use in a video editing program to put on top of your video. So let's take a look at how this is done, and let's get to it. I have a screenshot in here from Ghost Recon just as an example, but we'll be making an image like this where we have our overlay sitting on a transparent background. You can then use that anywhere you want to, even move that around at different locations on the screen once this has been finished. Okay, let's go ahead and see how this is done. I'm just going to hide this video here and let's start from scratch. So File, New, and I'll be using a size here that matches a high definition recording of a video. So I have mine set. It's on a custom size. If you have the older style new file document on earlier version of Photoshop, this is Photoshop CC 2017. If you're in an earlier version of Photoshop, just set your settings to match what I'm doing here. I have the measurement set at pixels and my width at 1920, height at 1028. That's high def. I'm using my resolution at 200. It will actually be lower than this when it's placed into a video, but this is a good resolution to work at. It'll be lowered about half of this when it's put into a video. So this is a real nice resolution for setting up your file. So 1920, 1018 or 1080 rather, pixels, horizontal or landscape mode, resolution of 200 should work out fine. RGB color is correct for this because of course we are working for monitor output, not print output. Then choose create, and there's our file. I'm just going to zoom in and fit this on screen just like that. Now the first thing you want to do is have some kind of a neutral background to work on. So I'm going to change my fill here and just grab a gray off the side, kind of medium darkish gray off the left hand side here somewhere. Choose OK, and then simply fill the background with that gray. Little neutral background to work on. We also want to have a sample in here to use to check and see how our overlay looks against an actual image. And go up to File, and mine's in the Open Recent since I've already used this one. There we go. Just a screenshot I picked up on the official site for Ghost Recon, and I'll just drag that in. The picture you use doesn't really matter. This is just a placeholder to give you an idea of how your overlay looks on top of an image. So use a screenshot from your favorite game and you're all set to go. Okay, that's there just for testing purposes. Let's now place in our guidelines in here. Now the image is 1920 across, and I want to have 4 guidelines. Divide this up into quarters. So I'll have guidelines starting at 480, then 960, then 1440, and that gives us our quarters. So go up to View, come down to New Guide. We want these to be vertical guides, and your guides up here, your ruler should be in pixels. If it's not, let me just cancel that for a second. If your ruler is not in pixels, right click and choose pixels from the drop down list. If you're not seeing your ruler, go up to View and make sure that rulers is checked right there. Okay, so that's all set. So View, come down to New Guide, Vertical, and type in 440. Hit OK. It's our first guideline. Go back up here to View again, and New Guide. This one is at 960, just like that. That's your middle position. View and New Guide, and then this one is at 1440. And that gives us the page divided up into quarters. I'm not going to go clear out to the outer edges out here. I'll be in the middle here someplace. But I don't want to go past that. That's about as wide as I ever want to get. So these are just kind of my outside boundaries. As long as I stay inside of those, I'm okay. And this is my center mark to center everything up on that. Let's now put in a couple of horizontal guides up here. These are just measurement guides. We'll be using these to adjust sizes of things. So View, back down to New Guide, set this at horizontal, and let's put one at 50 px, choose OK. Back up here, View, and come down to New Guide, And let's put one here at 75 pixels. Choose OK. Just measurement positioning. Alright, so there's our basic guides. Now we need to begin working on the actual graphic. And we'll start off with a real basic part. I'm going to put my colors back to their defaults over here. Black in front, white in back. And I'll grab the rounded rectangle tool. I'll leave the settings up here at all of their defaults on that radius of 10 pixels up there. And I'll start over here someplace. We can even zoom in a little bit on this. I'll just zoom in right on the middle. There we go, a little bit better. And I'll start around over here somewhere and just drag it over to the right hand side. And I want it touching that second horizontal guideline. And if you watch the little pop up there, I want this set at approximately 700 pixels wide and right at the 75. And if you're careful, you can get that just by dragging that. Now, once you have it in place, you can come down here with the properties and then adjust those. So your width is 700 pixels and your height is 75. And that's good. Let's go ahead and close that. And then I'll just take the tool here, just kind of move this over. It should snap right to the center mark. There we go. So that's centered and just kind of in position. Let's now put a big thick white outline so it's easy to see this thing. We'll be changing that later on. We'll start off with that. Come down to the bottom down here where it says FX, click on that, and we're going to be doing a stroke right there. And I'll set my stroke size at 5 pixels so it's easy to see. And let's set the color of white. Just drag up to the upper left hand corner for white, choose OK and OK. And there you go, just an easy to see big white surround shape in here. Okay, now I want to put in some text on this. I want the text to be about in the middle section in here. So I'll go to my type tool. Now I'll be using the name of my company, just How To Gurus, on this, and I'll put it down here. Notice if it's up here, the icon, the cursor changes. This is a text inside of a shape. You don't want to have that. So come down outside of the shape down here, and I'll just type in How To Gurus just like that. Now I'm going to be wanting to have this in white and not black, so I'll select that, and then I'll change the color here up to white and choose OK. There we go, and I'll just drag that up and just kind of put it up in here someplace. And you can use your cursor keys to fine-tune that position. Now on my name here, the middle of the O is just about centered on the text. That's just about right. Okay, pretty good. Now we need to have some icons in here. So this is my username on all the sites. I don't have any spaces in there, How To Gurus without spaces. But that's my username on Facebook and on Twitter and on YouTube and on Google+, all those sites, all my other sites as well. That's my username, easy to find. So I just have just the username. And let's put in icons in here for those different social media. Go to File and Open. And I found this graphic online, and I'll put a link on my video support page where you can download a font of this if you want to. I'm just using it from a graphic, but you can actually use this from a font. And I found a source for that where you can download that for free. It might make it even easier, but I don't want to go into that level of detail here in this video. So we'll just use a graphic on this. There we go. So here's our Facebook. Here's the Twitter. There's the YouTube. There's the Google+. And let's grab the rectangular marquee. I'm just going to pull a marquee around the F for Facebook. Edit copy. Go back over here. Edit paste. There we go. And I'll just drag it over there. Let's do this for each one of these icons that we want to use. Same thing. Edit copy. Back over here. Edit paste. Now, of course, we could be using the keyboard shortcuts for this stuff if you want to be using your keyboard shortcuts. No reason not to at this point. I'll just keep on doing it the hard way here so that you can see exactly what it is I'm doing. And also for everybody who's not running the video sound or using a different language, they can see what's going on here. So edit copy. Back over here. Edit paste, or Control V, of course. There we go. and get our last icon off of this thing, and that's the G plus right there. Edit copy, and back over here, edit paste. Okay, so those are the icons, and they're approximately in the order that I want. I'll be doing Facebook, and then Twitter, and then YouTube, and then Google Plus over here. Now, the size is wrong, and I also want to have these in white. So let's put the white part of this done as a layer style. So let's also rename these. This first one here, that is Google Plus. There we go. Our second one down here, that is YouTube. Double click to rename that. That one's Twitter. Again, double click. There we go. And the last one, of course, is going to be Facebook. And there it is. Now we have this rounded rectangle in here. This is going to be the rectangle that our icons are sitting. I'll be making another rectangle later on just for the name. So I'm going to rename this one icon rectangle. Or you can just call it icons if you want to. That's fine. So that's where they're going. Okay, those are all named nicely. We're all set. Go up here where it says Google. And on this, come down to the FX button, click on that, and we're going to be doing a color overlay. And in here, color overlay, click on the color and just drag upper left hand corner to set that to white, and it makes that white for us. And the reason why I'm doing this as a color overlay is it makes it really easy to change that later on. I can make this any color I want just by changing the color on that color overlay. Okay, now on the name here, right click, and we're going to be copying the layer style. And then come down to the YouTube, right click, paste layer style, down to Twitter, right click, paste layer style, and then down to Facebook, right click, and paste layer style. There we go. Okay, so we have our icons and they're the right color. Let's now fix the size. So I want the size in here. This is where this 50 pixel line is for, is to get the size. I'm going to pull it up to the top, just touches. You can see that with that dynamic guideline up there. And then use Control T, brings up our bounding box. Hold the Shift key down, and then let's just drag that up so at the bottom then hits the bottom line. And then let's just go ahead and apply that. There it goes. That's the right size. And I'll just drop that in here someplace. Do the same thing for the Twitter. Drag it up here until the top matches that top, which is right about there. There it is. And then Control T again. That gives us our bounding box. Hold the Shift bar down and pull it up so at the bottom just touches the 50 pixel line. I'll just click on the check mark this time. And there we go. There's the Twitter in here someplace. We'll adjust the positions later. Okay, let's do the YouTube now. I'll just put it up here, get right to the top. Again, right at the top, and there it is. Same thing again, Control T, drag the corner in until the bottom comes up to our 50 pixel line. Click on the check mark, put that one right there. And then we'll finish off with the Google Plus. Drag it up here again, just wait for that top alignment to happen, which is right about in there. It is. Okay, Control T again, and drag the corner in until we get to that 50 pixel mark. There we are. Check mark, and there that is. Okay, now we no longer need these horizontal guidelines. We can get rid of these. So let's drag them back onto the ruler and lose those. We still want the center one, and I'll still leave these in here just as, you know, not to go beyond those. It's my visual boundary. So I'll leave those on. Okay, so there's a basic layout. I now want to make a copy of this rectangle here and shrink it down so it fits just around my name. So let's come down. That is the one that says icons right here. And I'm actually going to rename this. Let me make this icon rectangle so it's really easy to see. That works. Drag this down to the new layer button. That's now a copy. And again, we're going to do the Control T. There's our control handles, and let's pull the sides in on this. until we're just inside of the name, just like that. Now you can see how I'm a little off center on that, so I'll use the arrow keys, the cursor keys, to move that over and center that exactly. Let's come back to the check mark. There it is. Come back to the icon rectangle. Control T on that one to see my alignment mark, so I can see there's the center, and I'll use my keyboard arrows again to kind of just tap that over so it's perfectly centered. Okay, so those are all nicely centered. How to Guru is pretty good. The name is just a little bit off center. I note the rectangle is on center, but the name is just off a little bit. Now I'm going to rename this one. This is the top one. Just go ahead and check mark that. Here's our top one. Let's just rename this, and I'm going to be calling this one text rectangle. So I'll get rid of the copy, and let's change icon to text. Text rectangle, there we go. So easy, real easy to see here. Okay, now let's go up to the type. There's our type on that one. And I'll just use the cursor keys just to tap the type over just a little bit and to kind of position that exactly where I want that. Now it looks pretty good right there. Okay, so far so good. Now let's adjust the icons. We can hide the effects for the moment here. Just click on a little arrow outside there, hide those effects, and it just shrinks down the layers a little bit, making it easier to see here. So I'm going to go here to Facebook, and then just using the arrow keys, I'm going to move these over a little bit. Don't go too far on this. We're just kind of basically getting them into position, but they're not exactly finished yet because we'll be taking care of that in just a little bit, but I want to have them about the right place. Notice I'm leaving some space outside here and here. We'll take care of that right now. So on our text rectangle, let's make a copy of this one, drag it down to our new layer button right there, and then rename this text wings. Just back up here. Text wings. That's all set. Now go up to Edit, Transform, and Perspective. And get these little perspective handles in here. Grab the upper left-hand corner, pull that out, and we can kind of pull it out like that. Now actually I'm on the wrong layer here, but it's okay. I'll just reverse or change the position of my layer. But I want them out kind of like that, just kind of a wing shape thing. That's good. Check mark on that. So let's just grab the text wings, make sure that it's underneath of the text rectangle. So there we go. There's the rectangle, and there are the wings. Do the exact same thing here for the icon rectangle. Make a new layer. This time I'll pull it down underneath the icon rectangle to start off with. We're still in our rectangle copy. Double click on the name and change this to icon wings. There we go, and my keyboard's acting up right now. There it is. Okay, icon wings. Same thing. Edit and come down to Transform and Perspective. And just drag that out, the top out, so that the angle's about the same. I'm just visually matching that. That's fine. And choose OK. So that's good. Now, I don't want those as thick. So click on the icon rectangle, hold the Control or Command key down, click on the icon wings so they're both together. And we're going to change the size on this a little bit. Let's go up here to Edit, Transform Scale, and just change the height here to 80%. And that shrinks that down. And again, check mark. So it's just a little bit thinner than our other size. All right, that's the basic positions are in here. Now we can come in and make some adjustments on the look. We'll start off with our text rectangle right here. Let's bring our effects back up again and double click on effects. There it is. You can kind of see that. Just move this over a little bit. So there's that rectangle, and here's our layer style box. And we'll give this a gradient overlay. Click on that, and that will probably come in looking kind of like this when you start off with this. That's kind of the default setting. So let's change this in here to a reflected like that. So it's light in the middle, dark on the outer edges. And then click on the gradient right there. And we're going to be changing our colors on this. So on the left hand side, click on that. There's your color. Click on the color. And then let's go ahead and change this to kind of a light blue in here. And the actual color that I used on my example was A, E, E, A, F, and E. A, E, E, A, F, E. There we go. So that was my light blue color right there. Again, A, E, E, A, F, E. Choose OK. Same thing over here on the black side. Click on the bottom square right there. There's our black color. Let's make this a dark blue. There's something down over in here somewhere. And the color that I used on this one was a 002632 right there. This actually is based on the light blue color and then it's made dark. Choose OK, and there we go. So there's the colors that I selected for that. Let's also fix this outline here. I'm going to go back up here to the stroke and let's change this down to 2 so it's a lot finer outline. So there we go. There's our stroke. Let's now copy this look back to the icon rectangle. So where it says text rectangle, right click on this, copy layer style, come down to icon rectangle, right click on the name, paste layer style, and there that is. Let's now fix those wings. I can collapse these styles here on the rectangle. Let's go to our text wings right here, open that up, double click on the effects, and in here let's go back to our gradient overlay. It should be showing it as the default setting, which is kind of like that. Now this is set at reflected, and you probably have the black on your left side, white on the right side. So what I want on this one is just a reverse. I want to have just like that, actually, black left, white on the right hand side, and reflected. So it's backwards of what the other gradient was. So we have light on the outer edges and dark in the middle, and then our other gradient was dark on the edges and light in the middle. Let's now change that outline. Again, go back here to stroke, change that down to 3, maybe go down, clear down to 2, so it actually matches the other one. That's good. Choose OK. So that takes care of that piece. Let's now copy that layer style and apply it onto our icon wings layer. So right click where it says text wings, copy layer style, click on icon wings, right click, and paste layer style. So that now matches. There we go. We now have those shapes all matching. Let's now put a little drop shadow on our text and a drop shadow on our icons. Maybe I'll bring the bird down a little bit in size as well. So go up here to How to Gurus first. Let's do this one. I'll click on the FX down here and we'll give this a drop shadow. Here's our drop shadow setting. Down here, set the angle right here to 127, so it's off to the upper left hand corner a bit. Change the distance, bring that down quite a ways to 3, and bring the size down to 3 as well, so it's pretty sharp and pretty small. Just like that. There we go. Choose OK. Alright, I'm going to fix that bird. It's just a little bit too large. Everything else looks okay. The bird looks too big. Go up here to Twitter right there, and then Control T, and I'll just hold the Shift key down and pull the corner down just a little bit until he fits better into that space. That's nice. Now let's give these a drop shadow as well. I'll start with the top layer here at Google and double click on Effects. Check mark here where it says drop shadow. Click on that, and then let's change the distance to 3 and the size to 3 so it matches our text. Choose OK. There's the drop shadow. Now just copy that. So right click on the name, copy layer style, come down to YouTube, right click on the name, paste layer style. Twitter, right click on the name, paste layer style, and then let's collapse that one. And then Facebook, right click on the name and paste layer style. And there we go. There is our little overlay piece. Let's now fit this back on the screen. And we can hide our guidelines right now. So let's unshow extras. There we go. Let's bring back our little sample. And there's the overlay sitting on top of the image. Okay, now let's take this so we can actually use it on top of other images easily. And that's simply saving this as a PNG file. Let's just hide everything in the background. Hide the background, hide our sample image. You should see your checkerboard in there. Let's now go ahead and save this. So File, Save, and I'll give this a name. Let's call it Overlay. Choose Save. There we go. And then File, Save As, and save this as a PNG file, which is right down there. And choose Save. Leave all those settings at their defaults. Choose OK. And there it is. Alright, let's now see how this can be applied onto a picture or even onto a video. If you're going to be doing it with video, just simply importing it. I'll close this. Let's close that down. And I'll open up our screenshot image here. So let's say this is your screenshot. And I'll zoom in to fit screen. Or if you're in your video program, same thing as your video clip. And then simply place the graphic, the PNG file, on top of as a layer above your image or a layer above your video. So File, Open. There's the overlay PNG. Choose OK. There it is. Just grab that and drag it into your image. And there's your overlay right there. Then just place it wherever you want, at the top like that, at the bottom down here, wherever you want to put your little graphic, your little overlay. Go ahead and just drop that in. Just like that. So that's how you make an overlay here inside of Photoshop. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.